Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we are tackling something.
Oh, this will be good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we're diving into a book that claims you can quit smoking
The easy way.
the easy way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Big
so
claim.
huge EE claim.
Yeah.
The book is called The Easy Way to Stop Smoking by Allen Carr.
That's right.
And when I first saw this title, I have to admit, I was a little skeptical.
Sure.
Like, can it really be that easy
Right?
to quit something that everyone knows is
Is so hard.
incredibly difficult? Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe before we jump into all that, can we
Sure.
get a little background?
Yeah, so this book was actually published way back in 1985
Oh, wow.
by Allen Carr. And like you said, the title is The Easy Way to Stop Smoking. And
So he's been around for a while.
it has. And Carr himself was a former heavy smoker.
Oh, wow.
So he kind of, was coming at it from his own experience of
Yeah.
quitting. And the book's really become pretty popular over the years for its unique.
Yeah, it's not like the other ones.
Not at all. Like you were saying, it doesn't focus on willpower or scare tactics like a lot of the other quit smoking programs do.
It almost seems like he goes the opposite.
Yeah.
It's
very
their direction with it.
counterintuitive. It's more about kind of reframing your whole
Yeah.
mindset around smoking.
Well, and that's what I thought was so interesting when I first started reading it,
Yeah.
was how much it focuses on the psychology of smoking,
Right.
not even really the physical addiction to it.
Exactly. And that's one of Carr's main arguments is that the physical addiction to nicotine,
Okay.
it's actually pretty weak.
Really?
Yeah. And it's really short-lived.
Right.
The real challenge, he says, is the mental dependence.
Oh, that makes sense.
The beliefs we have about smoking,
Yeah.
the fears we have about quitting,
Yeah.
all those kind of justifications we use to keep smoking.
It's like you said, it's like all in our heads.
It really is. It's all about the mindset. And so Carr kind of goes through and systematically deconstructs
Okay.
all these beliefs that smokers have.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a lot of people are afraid to quit because they
Oh,
think
yeah, yeah.
they're going to be giving up this huge source of pleasure or this coping mechanism.
It's just stress. Yeah.
Exactly. But Carr argues that that's not actually true.
Okay.
He's saying that smoking actually robs us of enjoyment
Okay.
and it takes away our control
Oh.
over our lives.
So instead of helping us cope with stress,
Right.
it's actually creating more stress.
Exactly. It's this kind of vicious cycle.
Yeah. And I know this might sound kind of far out there,
Yeah.
but I've heard so many stories
Oh, yeah, me too.
about people who have read this book and literally quit. Like
Right after finishing it.
immediately.
That's amazing.
It's like this light bulb moment for them. Like
Yeah.
they suddenly see smoking in this totally different light
Right.
and they're just done.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
It is, but
Yeah.
I'm curious, is there actual research to back this up?
There is actually, yeah,
Yeah.
beyond just those anecdotal stories, there have been a lot of clinical studies that have shown that Carr's method
Right.
is really effective.
Okay, well, what kind of studies are we talking about?
Well, one really interesting study was published in the British Medical Journal,
Okay.
and it actually found that Carr's method was way more effective than the traditional NHS stop smoking programs.
Well, so even better than
Yeah.
the patches and the gum and
Exactly, all those things.
Wow. Okay.
And so this study followed participants for a whole year,
Okay.
and they found that those who used Carr's method were almost twice as likely to be smoke-free at the end of the year.
That's incredible.
It is pretty impressive.
So I'm guessing the NHS was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, they definitely took notice.
They had to.
And they actually ended up incorporating Carr's method into their own stop smoking initiatives.
Oh, wow.
So now they offer it as a legitimate option for people who want to quit.
So he's gone totally mainstream.
Yeah, pretty much. And that says a lot about how credible
Yeah.
his method is considered to be.
That's amazing.
It's not just some fad diet book or something. It's
Right.
actually evidence-based.
So it's like the real deal.
It is, but of course there's some criticisms too.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah.
There's got to be some people who
Oh, yeah.
aren't totally on board.
For sure. So one of the biggest criticisms is that Carr completely dismisses
Okay.
nicotine replacement therapies.
Like the patches and the gum.
Exactly. He thinks they're actually harmful.
Really?
Yeah, because he thinks they perpetuate this idea that you're dependent on nicotine.
Okay.
And he says they actually prevent smokers from really addressing the root of the problem.
The mental aspect.
Exactly, the psychological addiction.
I mean, I guess that makes sense with his whole approach.
Right.
But I do kind of wonder,
Yeah.
what about the people who really do struggle
Right.
with the physical withdrawal?
Yeah. That's definitely a valid concern. And I think it's important to remember that everyone's experience with addiction is different.
Right.
So while Carr's method has been really successful for a lot of people,
Yeah.
it might not work for everyone.
Okay.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
So I guess it's like anything, you kind of have to
Yeah,
figure out what works for you.
exactly. It's about finding the approach that resonates with you
Right.
and that addresses your specific needs.
So to all of our listeners out there,
Yeah.
I'm curious, for those of you who have maybe tried to quit smoking or you've thought about it,
Yeah.
what comes to mind when you think about this idea
Right.
that quitting could actually be easy?
Yeah.
I mean, it really does challenge everything we think we know.
It really does. It's like turning conventional wisdom on its head.
Right. And this whole idea that quitting can actually be enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's not this horrible
Right.
deprivation.
Totally different from how it's usually portrayed.
Yeah. But like we were saying before, there is evidence to support this.
Yeah, it's
It's pretty amazing.
yeah.
And it makes you wonder if this kind of mental shift
Right.
could be applied to other things too,
Absolutely.
like other habits or
Yeah.
addictions.
Or even just any kind of behavior change,
Oh, yeah.
that you're trying to make.
Yeah. Could we apply these same principles
Yeah.
to other areas of our lives?
Like, what if the key to making any kind of lasting change is really just understanding the psychology behind it?
Exactly. Like, what are those underlying mechanisms
Yeah.
that are driving our behaviors?
That's a really interesting thought.
It is.
So anyone listening out there, if you're interested in a different approach to quitting smoking,
Yeah.
you might want to check out this book,
Yeah.
The Easy Way to Stop Smoking by Allen Carr.
It's definitely worth a read.
You never know. Maybe easy really is within reach.
Maybe it is.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
See you next time.